let you know all the little tears gon' come and go. Baby, just gotta make up your mind that every little thing's gonna be alright.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another Creator Convo episode. This is the final part of this episode. This is episode 4 I think, and this is the final part. The other two parts are on Sean's channel and Johnny's channel, Live Tours and Thrills and One Monk Stream, so I'll leave them in the description down below if you want to go and check those out. And today we have Kip Hakes, and I have never heard of Kip Hakes since I kind of discovered him on Twitter, and then we kind of got talking a little bit, and now he's on Creator Convo, which is amazing. He is an amazing person, an amazing guy. I found him very relatable, so he was just really easy to talk to. Yeah, I'll link his channel down below as well, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Well, I think the final thing we wanted, and we touched on before, was theme park the musical. We didn't want to theme park fan the musical, sorry, and I don't think we want to talk about that specifically, but the topic of it, which was that community and togetherness and stuff like that. And I think it's something that, Sean, you've chatted to the guys that have made it, haven't you? And yeah, it was a topic that they really wanted to bring forth, really.
Yeah, it definitely stemmed from this feeling of togetherness that the community has, and everybody, like we've just been talking about, there's always going to be somebody who's probably going to join or think about joining this community in the few days, weeks or months to come, but there's always going to be that hesitation of, well, how can I fit in? Like, this channel I've been watching for, so how do I approach them? If you've got this anxiety about, there's always going to be an anxiety when I'm going to meet somebody new or experiencing something new. So that's why I liked how that musical not only showed Jamie's character in that position, but it showed anybody willing to or want to be a part of the community that, you know, this is the kind of path that you should go, or, you know, mindset that you should go in with. And I love that, because it didn't just appeal to Jamie as a person and the community, it appealed to anybody outside who wanted to be a part of it, which is why it struck such a nice balance and rang a lot of chords with me personally, because when I think we're all in the same boat. When we first started, I was looking at accounts that I've been watching for months, like, how on earth can I talk to them? Like, why would they pay attention to me? They'll probably think I'm piggybacking off their audience, and I'm not. I just want to say hello. You know, here I am. I'm trying to do something different. And I just really love the motto that the musical presented, and it's really cool that you're a part of it, Kip. I'm sure it was a lot of fun.
It was. I mean, you know, because Nick was talking to me about it like ages ago. Like, it was very sort of. It might have even been like this time last year. It was quite a while ago that he had this sort of, you know, the idea behind it, and, you know, he was sort of telling me bits and pieces, because Nick actually does the music for my intro and outro on my channel. Okay. And he's also done some sort of background music as well that I use. And so I've you know, I've literally worked with Nick, and, you know, he's a really lovely guy and a good friend. And yeah, he was just sort of, you know, sharing things with me, and then he said, you know, did you want to be part of it? And I was like, yeah, damn right. And so I just stood here singing badly and sent him over a file, and you know, like literally a few hours later he went, there you go, and he just sent me like a video of a screen recording with my bit in the song, and it was amazing. And yeah, and also, like, I did the 12 Days of Christmas with Archie just before Christmas, and like some other roller coaster geeks, and to be asked to do that was really quite kind, because I don't know, I kind of like where I feel a bit kind of funny as to where I sit in the theme park world, because I'm so old, and like it's so full, like the enthusiast sort of world seems so young, and I just feel like, just an old man. And so, you know, to sort of be in a track with Archie, you know, that's amazing. That made me really happy. But I think the community is an interesting place. Sometimes I think if you're on the outside looking in, it just looks like a bin fire a lot of the time. You know, some nights you look on Twitter and you're like, oh God, what's happened now?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
go for your Twitter and it's just like, you know, and there's just like this stuff. And like, well, who's done what?
I'll join the community tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think that's probably something we need to improve on as a community, because if you see some of the stuff that's going on and some of the sort of almost public hangings of people over just weird things, you just kind of think, oh, would I want to be part of this? But then when stuff like the musical comes out and everyone's like all together, you kind of think, yeah, this is great. And it's like, you know, the sort of, I've never done it myself, but you know, like the opening night at Blackpool in Spoons, you know, it's that sort of just feels like this massive thing. And I've never even been part of that. But I don't know. I think we need to work harder as a community on just understanding that there's so many of us now, like so many ages, different genders, different races, different abilities and everything like that. And I think sometimes we just don't accept that people are different, and we don't always think the same things. We don't always hate the same people for the same reasons. And I think that's where we need to work on, it's really hard, because you know some terrible stuff has happened, and but equally sometimes you just think of things, especially with me, I just kind of think, oh man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. And I think it's really hard, because you know it matters to someone sometimes, and you've got to try and get the balance right, where you don't want to not care, but equally you don't care. But it's so hard, and it's such a wild place sometimes. And I just kind of think, I'm glad no one really cares about me that much to get that angry, because I don't think I could handle it. It's just, yeah, I think we need more things like the musical, because that was like a really positive moment.
Yeah.
And not everyone was, you know, you had a few idiots sort of, but on the whole, everyone was just buzzing, and it was so nice. And I think we need more of that. I think we need more togetherness. And I know that's really hard at the moment with things how they are, but I think we can be so fractured at times. It just, I don't know. God, I'm going on. Sorry.
No. Firstly, you're not old.
Yeah. Let's just rewind that a little bit. You're not old, Kip. Seriously.
I'm 40 this year. I'm like one of the oldest people in the theme park community.
But I think it's I didn't really know about this community being so big until I watched the musical, because I think I seem to have skipped and danced around the outside of it, or not really sort of known that it was there until kind of I spoke to sort of late last year to Sean and Zoe. You two was the first people that I kind of spoke to within this kind of circle as such. So I wholly underestimated it.
I think the thing is, it's just so, you've got people at different levels of sort of where they are and how they feel about things, and so it's just so vast now. Because when I first started sort of being in the community, I used to go on a website that probably none of you have heard of, and only older people have heard of, and it's called Rideers, and I think it's still there at rideers.co.uk. And basically it was just like a discussion board, very crude looking discussion board. And you know, I've watched rides being built sort of there, that people were posting pictures of Air being built, and I think it was around when Oblivion was being built, and people were posting pictures. It was there like right at the start. And most of the time then it was just sort of, well, probably now even older men. There weren't really many younger people in it. I think I was probably one of the youngest people there at the time. And I think now there's such a cross section of ages and backgrounds, and it's so diverse now. It's not just sort of slightly nerdy men, you know, it's so big. And I think sometimes it's a brilliant beast, but other times it can be a sort of quite sad and depressing beast. And it's just trying to find the balance right and just accepting each other and knowing that we can't always agree on everything. And just, I think the thing is with social media, it's so easy to just kind of, if someone's you don't agree with, you can just sort of send them on their way. You can mute them, you can block them, and you know, you can make your own theme park bubble. And that's kind of what I've done. I don't follow everyone. I don't read everything. I try not to get involved in all the scuffles and stuff like that, because most of the time it's none of my business. I've got nothing to say on the matter, and no one probably would care what I said about it anyway. So I think we've just got to be more accepting of each other and our differences, and use them for good rather than evil, I guess.
Yeah, there's always that the darker side, but there's that coming together, like you said, with the musical. I mean, I've got to be honest. Like before, Lift Hills was a thing. I was doing my movie page. I got invited to the Wicker Man thing because I thought it was to do with the movie, and once it wasn't, they still invited me anyways, which was so nice of them. But I got very drunk the night before and missed the press day that you were on about with the GoPros. So I went down a few days later. But the actual press day for me, where I realized there was a community, was the Dungeons Day. And I saw a young Kip Hakes with a camera. Yeah, I do remember you there, but I never spoke to anybody. It was me and my buddy Rich. I remember for some strange reason, Alton Towers paid for a coach to take us from Splash Landings Hotel to near where Hex was. And I was thinking, why the hell are we taking this coach ride?
Yeah, could have a nice walk.
Yeah, exactly. Could have had a nice walk. And I was getting on this coach with a bunch of strangers. And I was like, I don't feel a part of this community. Like, why would they want me here? I'm a movie blog. So me and my friend went sit right at the back of the bus, just out of everybody's way. And I thought the only people on the bus, I thought that was the whole theme park community in the UK. I didn't think there was like, I thought that was the entire community. So I was like, this is okay. I can handle this group of people. Like they seem very friendly. Everyone was talking to everybody else, apart from me being antisocial at the back, kind of avoiding everybody. But yeah, it was just one of them things where over time I've kind of grown into like I've got my words out, the togetherness of the community. But yeah, as you say, there is a dark side.
I think the thing is, I think also because we can be quite similar in some ways, and I do find a lot of enthusiasts they're not flamboyant and sort of big. They're all very internalized and quiet. And, you know, there's lots of sort of talk about, oh yeah, we'll meet up, we'll hang out. But ultimately the sort of social anxiety just takes over people and they just can't physically do it. And, you know, like that Dungeons thing, I was really lucky because I knew like a few people there, but I was absolutely dreading that day because I just kind of thought, I'm just going to be there. I was just there on my own, not really having anyone to talk to. And I was getting really panicky. And, you know, even I feel like that, like a lot of the time, because a lot of people know who I am, which is kind of weird to think and weird to say, but they do because people watch my stuff and I just forget that sometimes. But yeah, it is scary. Like part of the reason I've never been to Blackpool on opening day is I'm just terrified I'd just be there on my own and no one would talk to me. And I'd just like go and sit in Spoons and that'd be it. And I'd just be like sat in the corner and everything like that and having fun. And I'd just be on my own. And that's how I feel. And even though that probably wouldn't be the case, that's what the voices in my head tell me. And I think a lot of people suffer with that. And I think it is scary seeing all these people, especially when everyone knows each other, it seems, but we're just all scared children, I think, really, at the end of the day.
I think the scariest bit is just Spoons in Blackpool.
No, it's just Blackpool, let's be honest.
I do love the fire pits, though. I went for the first time last year. Them little fire pits. I was like, on a winter's day in Spoons, this could be absolutely incredible. I've never said that about any Spoons ever.
Yeah, but I really want to go because it's like part of the sort of thing now.
Yeah, it's like the initiation, isn't it? It's like the stonecutters on The Simpsons. It's like that initiation that you have to go through.
Yeah. But you know, I'm terrified of it. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm absolutely terrified of it just because there's so many people. But I think a lot of people feel like that. And I think that's where we need to be together as a community, is sort of accept that we're all a bit awkward and nerdy and stuff like that and a bit geeky. And it's okay. It's all right. But, you know, it's just making that step, I guess.
I think what will be interesting is if we do all get to opening weekend, after doing these creator convos, we're going to know quite a few people now.
Yeah, well, this is it. You guys are in a great position because you're meeting lots of people, and obviously you're putting out the content, but there will be content that doesn't go out, hopefully in my case. And you meet all these people and you get to know it, and I think it's brilliant, and I've really enjoyed sort of watching them because you get to know people.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real difference from the person you see standing, with their camera at arm's length talking into it, to actually speaking to someone, in the corner of a bar. You just see
the whole idea to kind of take a peek behind the curtain and just see it.
Yeah, exactly.
The personalities. But at the same time, this could go horribly wrong for us, where it's just us three sitting in a corner on our own in spoons. And they're like, there's a creator convo. They made me say stuff I didn't want to say on camera. It's like, it's one of them.
It'll be strange when we actually see more than just a small box on a screen and actually meet the people behind it.
I don't think I'm going to recognize anybody. It's like I'm only going to recognize it from shoulders up, aren't I, really? So it's going to be a strange one.
We will be on our own in the corner.
Oh, you won't. But this is great. And also I think it's great for people who don't really know much about the community to sort of get to know people.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really interesting idea, because there are so many sort of nice people out there. But you only sort of see what they kind of put out. You don't actually get to see the things, behind them and everything like that. So I think this is a really good idea, and I think I'm annoyed that I didn't think of it. But I'll be doing my own. No, I won't.
Not again.
See, one part of me really wants to speak to all of these amazing people like Screwy Loops and Slothy Vlogs and everyone like that. And then another part of me is but I'm happy with the friends that I do have now, and I'm happy with my little bubble and whatever. And then it's if I do go to an opening weekend, I'm always opening weekend. When I do go, it's I don't know. I find it hard to approach people because I'm I don't know what to say to them.
No, exactly. I would have to be very drunk before I went up to anyone that I didn't know, because it is just so hard making that first step. But you can't really go up to them and go, "I've seen you on YouTube." That's just creepy. It's hard taking that first step. But people have done that with me, and people go, "Oh, are you Kip Hakes?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, can I have a picture?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And it's really weird because I don't expect any, I'm just, as I said before, I'm just an idiot with a camera, and people watch my stuff and they like it, and it's ultimately, you've just got to remember that you're talking to another version of you. They might be a man, they might have less hair, they're probably a lot more ugly, but they're just you, but just in a different body. And so I've had that sort of people approach me and ask for pictures and stuff, and it's so weird. And I've had people striking up conversations and they're like, "You're Kip?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I'm so and so from so and so." And I'm kind of like, I don't know that person, because I can't remember everyone. But ultimately you still sort of have a rapport with them, because they're there at the theme park for the same reason you are, just have a really good day and dick about with their friends and family. And I think we just got to all remember that we are just exactly the same people. We just look a bit different to each other, and that's the sort of mentality I'm going to try and have, although I know that won't be the case, and I'll just have to get very drunk and then probably say something absolutely disgusting, and people think terrible things of me. But that's what I like. That's what I'm like. But no, I completely get that. It's so scary just approaching people, especially when you watch them as well, because you kind of feel like you know them, but you don't. It's really strange. It's like meeting someone you've seen on TV. Yeah. You've seen, you see a famous person, you think you know them, but you don't, and it's really kind of strange. And we're not really famous, but to someone, you might be, and someone might be really blown away to meet you. And you've got to think about it from that way. I'd be blown away to meet any of you. That'd be great. Sea
I
and
love.
spoons.
The top tip definitely is drink alcohol. I think that's I think that's going to be our motto of the episode. That's how I got introduced to Top Thrill Tourists. We're at Oktoberfest. They didn't have a clue who I was. Like, Emma, Top Thrill Tourist, and then we just started talking for about 30 minutes afterwards. I was like, I just said the stupidest thing that came to my drunk little mind, but I made I made a connection.
But that's the thing. Like, even now, there's like people I'm friends with on Facebook, and if I see them in a theme park, I'd probably still be too scared to go and say hello to them. So I'll give them like a cursory wave, and if they come over and talk to me, that's great. But I'd just be going, no, don't talk to me, please. But even if I consider them a friend, I just find it really hard to deal with people, and I think we're all a lot like that, and we've just got to remember that we are like that, I guess.
I think awkwardness is like a massive fear of mine. Just really.
No,
it's not
that's
scary.
mine too.
It's just I'm just scared of the awkwardness.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm scared of saying something really terrible and making it really awkward.
Yeah.
Like, because I sort of, my friends and stuff, and my family know what I'm like and know the things I say, but you kind of have to, I don't know, especially with lockdown and like not dealing with many people, you just kind of go, you just say stuff and you're like, oh God, I've done that tonight. And it's so hard. But yeah, I hate awkwardness, like just kind of that stink in the air that you've just left and you just got to deal with it there and then. It's really hard.
Yeah, mine's talking for me. I always talk when I'm nervous, so it helps with having a camera in front of me because there's always a lot to say. It helps in interviews because I've always got a lot to say and I'm always nervous. But yeah, there are times when there's just no filter and something comes out and you've gone past the point of no return and you're like, will they get how weird I am? It's just one of them things, isn't it?
But the thing is, you don't know other people's experiences. And I said, I was with someone once and I said something like, I've drunk so much, I sound like I've had a stroke. And their nan, just like 2 days earlier, had a stroke. And I didn't know that. I wasn't mocking them, but it was just something that I said. And they gave me a filthy look and I felt dreadful. And I still think about it to this day. And that was like 6 or 7 years ago. But it was just the feeling inside, just their face dropping. And I didn't understand why. And it just happens. That's what life is. You slip up, you fuck up. It doesn't, what can you do?
That is me. I'm always.
We've all admitted it now. We're all fucking weird.
No, but we are. That's the
always
thing.
say the most inappropriate shit at the most inappropriate times.
Yeah, exactly.
And always get in trouble for it.
I think so many of us do, but we're just kind of a bit scared to admit it and just realize that we're all very similar. We just, like different roller coasters.
But yeah, and that comes on a serious note back to that community side of things, is that, like you said, we do sometimes it does need to be sort of, people need to lighten up a little bit. It's not that serious. It's everyone's allowed their own opinions, and it'd be a bloody boring place if we all thought the same thing, and if we all liked the same ride and we all thought the same things were great. It would make YouTube a really boring, repetitive place. But people can take it so seriously.
Yeah,
when you've said something that they don't agree with, just let it go.
My opinion's right, not yours. No, my opinion's right. No, it's like everybody has their own opinion. How about that? Yeah,
and I think sometimes we forget that if we turn off our phones, these people are gone.
Yeah,
they don't exist, and that is the I need to think about that more myself. But ultimately, you just I think sometimes people just get so caught in a moment and they just get lost and they just think, I need to say something, I need to do something. But sometimes you just need time to just think about stuff and not react. I think we're all very reactive now. We can be reactive in an instant. We can say what we feel instantly. And there have been times in my life where I've sort of got an email that I've not liked and I've just gone and just sort of, and then sent it and thought, I shouldn't have done that. And it's the same with like tweets and stuff like that and stuff on Facebook. You just kind of think, if I'd have just like switched off for 12 hours and thought about it, I probably wouldn't have said that. I probably don't even care that much. But I think because especially now with things as they are and everyone's stuck at home and just constantly worrying about what's going on social media. I think it's just created this kind of atmosphere where it's everything, but ultimately if your phone dies, you get no signal, those people are gone, they're irrelevant largely.
It's nice to have that control, because I think that gives us power, whereas I think a lot of us with our own insecurities give our power away to others. Like we were saying the other week about negative comments, you could get 10,000 positive comments, but as soon as that one negative one comes in, you're like, wow, why is that one saying that when I've had so many nice ones? It's one of them.
Yeah.
But you've also reminded me that I do need to text somebody, so I do need to turn this phone back on soon, because I kind of missed a call. So yeah, thanks for reminding me.
That's all right. That's okay.
It's a good point, that, and I need to do that more often, is just turn my phone off, because I wish it'd die more often.
Yeah, it's a bit sort of, like when, the old sort of scene in a pub where like, leave it, he's not worth it, it's kind of like that. It's I think if we adapt like that to sort of things we see on social media, I think the world will be a slightly calmer place. And I imagine once things get a bit more back to normal, I think we'll see a change in things. But yeah, I think we've just got to try and
Think before you type.
Yeah, and just try and be nicer to each other. I mean, I've been a terrible human at times, and I think we all have. And we can't just constantly go around making people miserable, because it just does. You just get nothing out of life. And I think you just got to try and be the best person you can be, and just try hard to make people smile.
Otherwise, opening weekend at Blackpool is going to be very awkward when everyone hates each other.
Yeah.
There'll be some very, very quiet queue lines.
Yeah, there'll be beatings with GoPros.
It might be a bit of a blessing that we can only stand 2 meters away from each other. Kip, you are an inspirational gentleman, and your words this evening, I think, have resonated with us all beautifully.
Oh. I'm genuinely, I'm just an idiot with a camera with far too many opinions. Some of them are all right, some of them are terrible, but just got to try and be the best person you can be for the most amount of time possible.
With a cracking merchandise range, might I add, as well.
Merch.kiphakes.tv.
I knew you were going to do that. I had to set it up for you.
I can send you the graphic that I put up when it comes to say it on my vlogs.
To be fair, Sean's also got his own hoodie on.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the thing is, my brother got me this for Christmas, and when I got it, I messaged him. I said, "Oh, that's amazing! Thank you so much for doing it." Didn't tell him that I was like a week away from getting the logo redone, so I'm just keeping it on for like family values until. So I've delayed the logo redesign for a few more months.
I mean, I must admit, I've been thinking about getting my hair all cut, but I can't because of him.
So I think to final kind of bring it, what does the future hold for you, Kip? Do you have a vision for your channel? Do you have a road that you'd like to travel on, or are you just happy to see where things go and where you end up?
See, it's kind of interesting, because that's my answer is basically a mixture of all of that. Like I'm very much a sort of see what happens kind of person. But equally, I kind of think I want to concentrate, like with my theme park stuff, I want to look at sort of smaller parks across the UK, because obviously they've really struggled. I mean, I'm sure Merlin have really struggled, but like the smaller places like your Pleasurewood Hills and like Poultons and all these other places that just people don't really think of because they're not on the annual pass. I want to sort of try and do a bit more stuff focusing on them, maybe not Drayton Manor, because they probably hate me after the video I did about them, but just kind of I want to kind of big up the smaller places a little bit more, the places that will probably let you film on rides without reams of paperwork and stuff like that. And I think also I want to just do more, and it would be an absolute dream to be able to do YouTube and messing around with my camera full time. I would love to do that. And thankfully, because I work for myself and I sort of take on the work depending on what I want to do and sort of balance my workload, I'm able to drop everything and go to a theme park like one day a week or whatever. So, if I could get more video stuff in and do well out of it, that'd be really great. But ultimately, I think the world's going to be a very different place. and we just got to see what happens. But if I can visit a few smaller theme parks and, you know, wave my gimbal around, then I'll be a happy boy.
What's the difference between a gimbal and a GoPro?
Well, gimbal's like, oh, I don't have it in here. So it's basically a sort of thing that the camera mounts onto, and it's got motors and sensors to keep it stable. So even if you're going like that with your hand, the camera is fixed because it sort of knows where it is in relation to everything else. I mean, like GoPros have got sort of stabilization built in, so you don't really need a gimbal as such. But like when you're filming with a bigger camera, then it's nice to have something that's holding the camera rock steady for you. And you can do like twisty, twirly shots, which I'm going to do a lot of, flying into Alton Towers and stuff like that. But yeah.
I got one for Christmas. That was my Christmas present. And so far, it's not come out the box.
No, well, I've just made videos about it on YouTube, like unboxing videos and setting it up videos, and sort of been going around the house annoying my wife, sort of waving at her and twisting the camera into the dog and stuff, like, not literally obviously, but you know, stuff like that. Just, and I can't wait to do it at theme parks. And just, I think I'm just going to take some days off and just go and do some slightly sort of thin cinematic stuff and just get used to it and stuff like that. And I'd like to be able to just do a bit of that, just kind of dick about in theme parks and have fun. One day.
My concern with the gimbal is that I'm going to look too professional and someone will approach me thinking I know what the hell I'm doing.
I also want to say GoPro Hero 7 with hyper smooth stabilization is now discounted on all Amazon retailers. Link in the description box below.
Where's yours?
Yeah, look, mine's, I don't know if you can see, mine's branded.
Different.
Oh, yeah, that's ace.
I know it's not different.
No, it's got a little holder at the bottom for the microphone pack in my case. So I've got the external microphone pack.
Mine's,
I like how it's all within
still
like
with Amazon.
reach distance.
Get your gimbal out, Johnny. Get your gimbal out. No, not your gimbal. Get your GoPro out. Get your GoPro out for the lads.
I think I'm going to be following someone's link to buy one.
I really want to go in the gimbal now you've told me that. I thought it was like a camera thing, so it's like a tripod.
Yeah, look at my channel. Like my most recent videos are on my gimbal.
I've got mine there.
What gimbal do you have?
For too long to get it. It's like at the bottom.
I've got a Ronin SC.
Mine's a little Zhiyun for your mobile.
Zhiyun.
phones.
Yeah.
You just clip your iPhone on and away you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they come in
mine's-
different sizes for phones or cameras. Mine's sort of a mirrorless camera because this is what I use to shoot on most of the time now. It's my Sony ZV-1 and it's not too heavy. So it's a mirrorless camera. That's what I use. And yeah, I've got a gimbal that's sort of ideal for that weight. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with that because it's going to look very cool.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Check out all the links in the description box and I'll see you guys next time for a brand new video. Bye.
'Cause ain't nobody like me. Ain't nobody like